Welcome to the Hour of Empowerment. Today we are in season 3, which is organizational development, and topic 2, team building, and we are in episode 3, team formation, steps we need to take to form and lead teams, and also leader-followers interaction. Before we proceed, let's talk about what we discussed last week. Last week we talked about the relationship between communication and team building, and we took 2 reality checks: communication versus team building, and measuring your team building ability. We also covered why teams fail, and we discussed about the threats you should look for from the people you like to attract to your team. We also discussed about the skills you should have for you to be a successful team leader. Let's briefly talk about the reality checks we took last week. Last week, we gave you these simple reality check. As you can see, on the y-axis, we have communication. On the x-axis, teamwork. And there are 4 quadrants. The first quadrant represents people who don't have communication skill and team building ability. And quadrant 2 represents people who are great in communicating, but their communication skill couldn't be able to help them lead teams. And the third quadrant represents people who are great in terms of playing teamwork, but they lack communication skill. And the fourth quadrant is the one which is envious. People in this quadrant are dynamic people, people who are great in terms of communication and teamwork. These are connectors. The question to you is where you and the majority of your people are. Are you in quadrant 1, 2, 3, or 4? If you are in 1, 2, 3 quadrants, the goal is to make a shift to the 4th quadrant. The other reality check we took was gauging your team building ability. And we measured ourselves from 1 to 5 in relation to connecting with others, engaging others, developing others, delegating others, motivating others, following others' lead, supporting others, and raising successors. We also discussed about the main reasons why teams fail. And we pointed out that even if you have great people, if they are not the right people, the team may fail. So one of the reasons why team fails is because of the wrong people. Lack of direction or vision. Being unclear about the goal of the team and also the responsibilities of each members. Lack of harmony and synergy, unempowering environment, dysfunctional organizational structure, and external factors. We also discussed about the threats you should look for from people you like to attract to your team. They should have the right mindset, personality, skills, and character. We also enlisted the most important skills you should have as you lead your team. As much as you require certain criteria from the people you like to attract, you should also know that there are skills you should develop to be an effective team leader. These skills include, but not limited to, 1, right mindset. As much as you require the right mindset from the people you like to lead, you should have also the right mindset. Proper leadership styles. You need to have the ability to prioritize, make the right decisions, strategize, plan, and set goals. You should be able to also initiate, implement, and successfully sustain change. You have the ability to inspire, mobilize, and also set an example. You should have also the will and commitment to empower your people. Identify, track, and resolve conflicts. You should be a consensus molder through what? Effective negotiation. Number 9, embrace and manage diversity. This is especially important because we are in the 21st century, which is filled with diverse people from diverse cultures. So we need to know how to embrace and manage diversity in our team. Team leaders should also know how to manage time, energy, and other scarce resources. They should have also the social and emotional intelligence. They should be able to create a life-work balance environment for their team. Last but not least, well-rounded communication ability. These are the most important skills you should have to succeed as a team leader. Today we're going to cover 3 important topics: evolution of team formation, steps we need to take to form and lead our teams, and also leader-followers interaction. If we don't know the phases, the stages of team formation, we may misread some of the signs and fail to play a proactive role as leaders. We need to know what kind of phases teams pass through. In that case, when we see some signs, we know where our team is, in which phase our team is, and so that we become proactive in helping our team to go to the next phase, the next stage. The best team formation model I know is Bruce Tuckman's model, which is called 5-stage team development process. Here are the 5 steps, the 5 stages of Bruce Tuckman's model: forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning. These are very important phases of team formation. The question to you is, where is your team right now? Are you in the forming stage, or in the storming stage, in the norming, in the performing, or in adjourning? For example, your team members are fighting or disagreeing, or if there is confrontation and tension within your team, it's not bad, it's not unusual. It is because you are in a storming phase. It's normal. So as a team leader, you should be able to know that these kind of signs are normal and you are in storming stage. What you should do? You should take your team to the next one, the norming stage. Of course, for this program purpose, I modified the model a little bit and also gave each stage a little bit modified, elaborated names, and also I added a couple of more steps to make the steps and the life cycle of team formation clear. Here are the stages: coming together, dealing differences, settling, stagnating, moving forward, producing results, and disbanding or reorganizing. Let's see each phase of team formation one by one. First, coming together. Team formation begins when groups of people come together to accomplish a certain goal or task as a group. At this stage, hope and enthusiasm is high. Of course, there may be some uncertainty about the future of the team. Members also attempt to know each other and demonstrate friendly behaviors while still cautious. The next phase is dealing differences. As a group work together, know each other, issues, conflicts, and disagreements may arise. That may challenge the team, and you may be noticing tensions, confrontations, and disputes in your team. Of course, if your team survives this stage, it goes to the next stage. Otherwise, it may go to the last stage. The third phase is settling. If the team survives the previous phase, what happens? It goes to the next one, because it has dealt with its differences and overcame the internal challenges, the conflicts, the tensions, the misunderstandings, and so on and so forth. Once they are settled, they coexist together as a team. The next phase is stagnating. Let's say the team could not be able to deal with their differences. They couldn't be able to be on the same page. In that case, they couldn't be able to create synergy, enthusiasm, and also they cannot have shared goals. And the team may remain for a very long period of time in the zombie state. If they fail to move forward and take themselves out of stagnation, what happened? They disband themselves. They go to the final stage. The next stage is moving forward. Once team members are on the same page, they could be able to create a well-functioning team atmosphere. And they begin to move forward, and the team start to work together and move forward by creating what? Synergy and having shared goals. The next phase is producing results. Once your team is focused, inspired, and become competent, they start to meet their goals. They are highly motivated, and they start to produce what? The intended results. They could be able to accomplish the agreed goals. The final phase is disbanding or reorganizing. Think about it. Your team may be now in this stage. You may need to disband it or change your goals and reorganize yourself and start from phase 1. Once the team realizes its original goals, what happens? It either disbands or reorganizes itself to start over. Well, we talked about the phases, the stages of team formation. The question to you is, in which stage is your team right now? Are you in the forming? Are you in the storming? Are you in the performing? Are you in the final stage, during? You should know where you are. Now let's talk about the steps you should take to form your team. Now we're talking about how do you start from scratch and build your great team. These are the steps you should follow. Understand your unique roles and contributions. Identify your weaknesses. Identify the right people who may cover your weaknesses. Develop and empower your people. Continually inspire them. Align them alongside the core of your business. Retain the people who have come to join your team. And also have a succession plan. Let's see the first step. This is a very important step. You can't just go out and build a team. You should have a very strong reason why you should have a team. Why people should join your team. Why people should support you. But of course, it could be very plain and clear to you. You know the reason. You feel like you need to have a team. The question is, can you articulate it? Can you express it in a very clear terms? At this stage, at the first stage, you need to know the kinds of unique roles and contributions you may have towards a team. Before inviting others, of course, you need to know your unique roles, what kind of strength you have, and you have to make audit to recognize your strength. You should be very honest at this stage. And also, once you know your strength, once you make a very honest assessment about your strength and your contributions, then you have to go to the next step, which is identifying your weaknesses. You need to go to the next tough level, which means most of the time we know our strength. We know our uniquenesses, but what about our weaknesses? That requires us to find people who may support and cover our weaknesses. So we need to identify and be clear about our weak spots. We need to make an honest assessment also here to know our weaknesses. What are the responsibilities? Let me ask you, what are some of the responsibilities you are no good at? You should know these responsibilities that you are now good at, for which you need support from other people. The third step is identifying the right people. Once you know your strength, once you know the kind of contributions you can provide to the team, and once you know your weaknesses, now this is time to bring the right people to support you, to cover you, especially in the area where you're not good at. But if you have already a team, now this is time to really know your people well. How do you know them? Yes, by knowing their gifting, their passion, their attitude, their strength, and weaknesses too. Use various team profiling models to understand the passion, the strength, the attitude, and the weaknesses of your people. And there are many profiling tools. But today I would like to share with you Margerson's McCain personal team management profile. By using this tool, you could be able to re-engineer your team with the new insight you get from the Margerson-McCain team management profile. If you don't have a team yet, well, you are starting from scratch. You need to go out and recruit the right people who will help you achieve your personal and organizational goals. And the best suggestion is to bring the right people so that you form your clan. In his classic book entitled Tribes, Seth Godin discussed about the importance of having your tribe. How do you find your tribe? Have you found your tribe? Have you found your clan? That's very important. You need to find your clan based on what? Commonly agreed values, aspirations, and causes. Especially in these days, you have the internet and also social media. You can use them to do what? To attract people who forms your clan, your tribe. You need to have, however, criteria to select people, to find out people who may join your clan. The question is, do you have a clan? Do you have a tribe? People who share your cause, people who share your common goals, your values, your character, your personality. So it's very important for us when we attract people or when we recruit people, when we hire people, we should make sure that the first criteria is people should be people who share your goals, your values. And here is what John Maxwell said. When I talk to leaders about hiring people, I advise them to hire first for affinity, second for character, third for specific skills. When I talk to leaders about hiring people, I advise them to hire first for affinity, second for character, third for specific skills. Don't forget that. First, affinity, second, character, and third, skills. But mostly, people first look for skills or maybe for character. They may not look first for affinity. It's very important. People are joining your clan, joining your tribe, so they should have that common value, common aspiration, common causes with you. That should really create a very strong and dynamic clan. The fourth step is develop and empower your people. Yes, you know your unique contributions. You know your strength. Yes, you identified your weaknesses. And based on that, you attracted the right people to cover your weaknesses. You even went forward and you attracted the right people. But at this stage, it is very important to understand that you need to empower and develop your people. It's very important. How do you develop them and why? Yes, you need to develop them and empower them. For example, for them to clearly know the goal of the team, the mission of the team, the values, and the contributions they should make individually. To achieve that, what you should do, you should give them trainings, workshops, coaching, and mentoring. You should also establish a very effective organizational structure that empowers your people. Even if you empower them through training, workshops, coaching, and mentoring, if your organizational design is restraining, people can't be really empowered. So it is very important. And as a shepherd of your team, you should be able to meet their needs and aspirations. You should also establish an organization which has shared values and effective and conducive corporate culture. And based on that, you should be able to create what? A favorable and healthy atmosphere where people are encouraged to bring out their best. Allows them to be independent, take risks, be creative and innovative. If you have that kind of empowering environment in your team, what happens? People start to be creative. People start to bring their best. People start to take risk and innovate. Here is what James Cash Penny said. The best teamwork comes from men and women who are working independently towards one goal in unison. The fifth step is continually inspiring your people. It's very important. Yes, the right people are here. Yes, you empower them, you develop them, but it's not enough because working together is not just a one-night party. You need to continually inspire them so that they may stay with you and accomplish the agreed goals. To do that, you should really motivate them, not just with uplifting words. Words are good. Yes, you should do that. You should encourage them using great words. But you need also to create a win-win scenario in your team. And people should have meaningful say and future with the team. That's very important. Your incentive, your promotional systems should also help people, encourage people to get motivated most of the time. That should lead them to be proactive, productive, and innovative. So you need to mix verbal, written, and in-kind motivations. Find other ways more than inspiring them using your words. Give them cards, write your thankfulness, your appreciation, or should you give them some bonuses? Find ways to inspire your people continually so that you may transform them to say from your into saying our vision, our future, our team, our goal. So you need to continually inspire them to transform them to embrace and own your team's goals and shared values. The sixth step is aligning your people alongside the core purpose. Now, you have great people, you empowered them, you inspired them, but it's not enough because you need to align your people alongside the core of your business. Because sometimes people are excited, motivated, and they may, miss the main thing. They may miss the core of your business. That's why you should closely monitor and find any sign that may finally lead to misalignment. And if you find that misalignment, you should fix it before it becomes too late. Of course, aligning of your people is not enough. You should also be able to align your processes, your policies, and procedures. The question to you is, are your processes, policies, and procedures are aligned to the main thing, to the core of your business? You should make sure that. The seventh step is retaining. Of course, people love to be inspired, motivated, and yes, you are aligning them to the main thing. The question is, unless people share your destiny, they may not stay for a very long time with your team. They may not be able to stay for a very long period of time until you accomplish your shared goals. So retaining people, making them stay as much as they should stay, is very important. In the previous three steps, for example, steps like motivating, empowering, aligning, are not enough. You need to make sure that people feel that if they stay with your team, they could be able to achieve their personal and collective fulfillment. For example, can they answer this question with confidence? Can they gain individual fulfillment if they give up everything and jump into your boat, leaving their own boat? So if people are confident about that, yes, they join your team, they jump out of their boat and they join your boat, knowing that your boat, your team also could be able to help them achieve their personal goals and fulfillments. The last stage is succession plan. It is very important to identify, empower, and raise your successors. Here is a very known saying: a leader without a successor is a failure. A leader without a successor is a failure. The question to you is, are you that kind of leader who raises successors, or you are alone by yourself? This is a wake-up call if that's the case. Many organizations went to ashes because of the passing of their founders. This is because these leaders, they couldn't be able to raise their successors. They were not good team builders. That's why when they passed away, their organization went to ashes. They couldn't be able to identify, select, groom, and empower successors while they were alive and in power. But don't let that happen to you. Don't let that happen to you. Start raising your successors when because the challenge is this: you don't know when you exit the team. You don't know when you pass away. Even if you are young, you don't know. Something may happen and you're gone. Do you have successors? It's very important. You should not delay until you are incapacitated or retired. Working on your succession plan should be done now. It is your homework. You have to give it time. While still it is possible and feasible for you to find, empower, and groom and mentor your successors. Of course, you should not stop from working only on successors for you. You should also work on the key players, the key team members in your team. You should find other successors for these key players. Let me ask you, do you have a succession plan for your team, your organization? Now, we talked about how to form team, what kind of steps we could take so that we succeed in leading our teams. But let's talk about leader-followers interaction. Because knowing the phases, knowing the stages of team formation and the steps we should take is not enough. We should be able to understand the importance of the interaction between the leader and the followers, the team members. Because a team without effective interaction between the leader and followers is not healthy. To have a healthy, flourishing, and forward-pushing team, you need to work on your interaction. And both parties should know their mandates and responsibilities. Both followers and the leader should make efforts for the union to succeed. Of course, some of us say, hey, I'm a leader, I don't worry about following because I'm always a leader. That's not true. Even if you are a CEO, you may be a follower at home, by your spouse. Or you could be a CEO and you have shareholders or board of directors whose leading you should follow. So even if you are a leader somewhere, yes, you may follow somewhere. Even if you are a leader in an organization, there are leaders on top of you, and you should know how to follow. This is important because once we know how to follow, we know how to lead effectively. You could be a president of your country. You should follow the lead of your constituencies. Now the question is, what kind of important qualities we are looking for the interaction between the leader and followers to succeed? What are the contributions? What are the most important traits are we looking for the interaction to remain healthy and productive? Because it's very important for the success of your team. Here are some of the lists of traits we should have, both as leaders and followers. We should be loyal, proactive, and forward-pushing people for our team to succeed. Let's talk about loyalty. This is really a very rare quality you find. And there are people out there in desperate need of partners, friends, leaders, followers, and colleagues who are loyal. Are you a loyal person? Now, we should be faithful, reliable, dependable, and trustworthy if we want to succeed in our team work. Of course, we're not born with this quality, loyalty, but we can develop it. It's possible to develop it. It's all about devoting yourself, giving your best, and standing for someone, your leader or your followers, both in good and bad times, both through thin and thick. The second quality we should have as leaders and followers is proactiveness. We need to be proactive. Loyalty is not enough for us to have a healthy interaction between followers and leaders. We need to play meaningful and proactive roles. Because our relationship to continue and to flourish, it requires us to play a proactive role. Especially this is very challenging if you are a follower, because it may be tempting for you to wait for orders from your leader. Before you are asked, you may not take any action. That's not good. You should be always proactive. You should not stay on the sideline and wait for you to be ordered. You should be proactive than reactive. The third important quality is to become pushing forward person, a forward pushing person. Most of the time, we are either backward or forward pushing people. We need to assess and know our inclination most of the time. Let me ask you, are you a forward pushing person or a backward pushing person? You should know that and work on it, because as a team member, you should be a forward pushing person. You need to change your personality if you are a backward pushing person, because it doesn't help you to play a great team role. To have a forward pushing personality, you have to be a positive person. You should have a positive outlook about other team members, your leader. You, rather than focusing where they have been and what kind of mistakes they have done, their weaknesses, you should focus more on what? Their passion, their dream, their future, their strength. So it's very important to be a forward pushing person. Now, in conclusion, I would like to emphasize that we need to be well aware about the evolution of team formation if we want to play teamwork. It's critical. Let me ask you, what are the 5 stages of team formation? Forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjuring. We should also know the steps we should take to form and lead our teams. As leaders, we need to develop skills. That is very important for us to succeed and achieve our common goals. We should also know the follower and leader interaction, and we should play our role. What are the 3 important traits both leaders and followers should have for our teamwork to succeed? Loyalty, proactiveness, and becoming forward-pushing personality. I believe that you are a forward-pushing person. I believe that you're going to play a key role by becoming loyal, proactive, and a forward-pushing person. I look forward for next week because we have a great interview. We're going to talk about team building with our guests. Until I see you next week, have a wonderful time. Thank you very much for watching.